Welcome, everybody, to the 8th episode of On the Tabletop. I am Arthur Perkins. This is APGamingREAL. And I am joined tonight by our artist, Arisaito, and our other artist, Drummer Boy, who will be playing instead of making art because he is a musical artist rather than a graphical one. Drummer
Mhm.
Boy, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us who you are and what you do?
I'm Drummer Boy. You might have heard my music before on Roleplay and Roll20 and other places around the internet. Um, that's basically what I do. That's what I do on the internet, and I stream writing music on Monday mornings and Wednesday mornings over on my channel. And I have a Patreon that we're going to talk about a bunch. You'll probably hear some music from the Patreon during the show today.
There's some.
And
There's some.
yeah, just the first one. But yeah, it's a way for players and GMs to get music a little bit cheaper than commissioning me directly. Because directly I charge in the hundreds, like in the low or the mid to low 2 to 300s. This is a way to get like a crowd-funded commission done. So you tell me what you want, and then I start writing it basically. And the theme for currently is dark fantasy, which is kind of like Dark Souls, Bloodborne, more Victorian era. Uh, Lots of creepy sounds, low strings, organs, screaming people, the regular.
Yeah, of course. Just that
Yeah.
just happens all the time in fantasy.
Well, the screaming part probably. It's murder central, so
Excellent. And you stream over at twitch.tv/drummerboy?
I do.
Fantastic. Just want to reiterate that for the folks at home.
Yep.
Ericido, tell us about yourself. I know that you've been doing a lot of commissions lately, drawing a lot of elf girls and witch girls wearing giant hats.
I have.
Pretty much nonstop.
That's my thing, man. Hi, I'm Saito. You can. I'm an artist, illustrator, freelancing, trying to get by in this artist life. It's tough. And I do commissions also. You can find me at the Carvelo. Shit, just a second.
I do
At
that drawing thing. Yeah, there we go.
Carvelo in Twitter and Instagram. Give me a follow if you're already there, please. I would be appreciated. And my commission info will be right there, as will be my contact info. So if you want some character you like, draw, portrayed by me, or fan art, or Overwatch tracer or something, you can give me a call or ping me in Discord also. And I'm also there. So yeah, that's it.
Fantastic. I wanted to talk real quick about. I mean, it's been affecting all of us. The weather. Holy shit, man. It's like the fucking end of days outside.
not not for me, man.
I'm okay. Yeah, you're safe. It's just America. We're
Yeah.
we're like out one hurricane and the next one is coming up and then behind it is another tropical storm. And
And
they're all going to hit the same areas over and over again.
and then Washington's on fire.
Oh yeah. Of course the West Coast
What?
is on fire. Yeah.
I haven't heard that.
Yep, giant fires.
We had that in Canada 2 years ago. 2 years ago in the province where I live, Saskatchewan, we had 135 forest fires going on at one time. The
Oh my!
entire the entire province was on fire.
Oh boy. Not great. Not great.
Yeah.
You guys stay safe.
I mean, I'll be safe. I thought we were going to get hit up here on the East Coast, but the hurricane curled the wrong way, so I'll be good. I'll be fine.
Yes.
Let's any questions before we get started?
No. Well, on that note, if you cheer, I think, did you have to opt into this? But if you cheer with a hashtag something, what is it? You can like donate with cheering to Harvey relief.
I have no idea.
So like you can hashtag cheers something. We can look that up in a break. But as far as I know, Twitch is donating all of their proceeds from bits to Harvey if you use the hashtag. #charity, I think it is. So if you want to do that and you have bits lying around, you can help out Harvey relief stuff.
This guy right here knows what's going on
Yep.
in a way that I don't. Oh man, I have to angle my hand really, really strangely in order to get it to look right on the camera, because my camera's angled. So when I point down, it looks like I'm pointing in the wrong direction. It's like I'm just pointing to my shirt. All right. Anyway, we're back. Pendragon, King Arthur Pendragon. I've done 3 campaigns of this so far, probably about 40 to 50 sessions. This game is fantastic about telling stories of King Arthur and his knights. And we are joined by such a knight in the Arthurian age, Elias, a knight of justice. What can you tell us about yourself, Elias? I noticed we already have most of a pick here for you, because you're so metal. And not serious, or I'm sorry, slightly more cheerful.
Yeah. So basically, Elias looks like Nathan Explosion from Metalocalypse, if you know that at all. He's a bit of a older knight. He's 23, which is older in the knight hierarchy there. But he's very loyal to the king. Is it still?
It's Arthur.
It's Arthur. Okay.
We're time jumping into the 500s rather than doing the shitty old age.
Yeah. So it's like the two things he has are loyalty and justice.
I have a question. It's very important.
Mm-hmm.
Where does your justice come from?
I think it's like being wronged in the past, and now like I have power. So it's kind of it's a weird form of like, if you had a shitty manager at a shitty job and you become manager at another job, you want to be a good manager kind of thing.
All right, that's a good answer. It wasn't the one I was looking for.
Okay.
I would have said it rains from above, but
I was gonna say that, but then I'm like, if I had falconry, then I would have gone that route.
wow, yeah, you have a little bit of falconry. It's just not very good.
Yeah.
You have some surprising skills.
Yeah, apparently.
I also have a very important question, Arthur.
Yep.
Is King Arthur in this story a tiny blonde girl?
No.
Fuck.
This isn't the Fate games. I've only watched Fate Zero. It was confusing and dumb, and all the best characters were murdered. Okay, I guess Arturio was alright, but pretty much everyone else was shit except for Alexander the Great, who was so dope.
He's awesome.
That guy was like, just get in my car, let's drive! And he's like, but you don't know how to drive this thing. And he's like, I can drive anything! I'm King Arthur, I'm Alexander the Great!
Would you say he's pretty great?
Yeah. He's like, I want to find the easternmost ocean in the world. And he's like, well, we're on Japan, so technically you did. And he's like, grr. Oh, shit.
Yes, I did it.
Yeah, I mean, most of Fate is just a giant pile of garbage, as far as I can tell.
Dude, I want to play all the games. I only started playing role-playing games, despite being in the sphere of role-playing games for 4 years. I only started playing them like 2 months ago.
This isn't a tabletop game, by the way. This is Fate is like a visual novel, I think.
Well, there's Fate and there's Fate Accelerated. Fate Accelerated is the one I know most.
We're talking about way different things. You're talking about Fate the RPG. We're talking about Fate, an anime series / role-playing visual novel. We're in very different spheres right here.
All right.
You're talking about rolling 4 dice with pluses and minuses, and we're talking about King Arthur being like a 4-foot-tall blonde girl.
We're on very different pages.
Yeah, we're on very different pages.
I think that's about all you can say about that.
Yeah, no. Arturia, definitely non-existent. This is the traditional King Arthur. Sorry, my friend. As the gatekeeper of all things Arthurian in my own mind, I'm gonna have to give that one a thumbs down. So, Elias, you're traveling through the Cambrian Mountains as a knight errant. You have a manor. You have like an estate that you upkeep. But it's important for the Knights of King Arthur to head out into the world and just solve things. People have problems, and knights need to solve those problems, is what the king has said. And you are a knight of justice, so more than most other knights, this is a thing that you would like to do. You've gotten word that at the edge of the forest, where the mountains just kind of trail off into some foothills, there's a village there where there's some pretty serious stuff going down. The local lord has declared himself not exactly in rebellion of Arthur's rule, but he's using old rules like primogeniture, uh, ancient ancient rules that haven't been followed for a very long time. He's pulling them out of his like county's books and saying, I can do this because it says so right here. He's using the law against the peasantry to acquire all of their businesses and anything that they've earned, and basically set himself up like the old days. And you and your trusty horse are set on a path of collision with this man.
It's going to be a good collision. I feel it.
All right, so let's set the scene here. You are coming through the mountains. I'm going to play some Drummer Boy music here real quick. I'm just going to put your track on. You're coming out the far end of the mountains, and as you do, the sunrise hits the village, and we can see already people are moving their oxen around. They're getting their goats into the fields. People are preparing breakfast, chimney smoke everywhere. This is a productive land. But watched over on the far side of the village from you is a combination of keep and watchtower. It's like a Mott and Bailey, if you know what that is, like a wooden wall surrounding a wooden structure and a small moat. And then in the center of it is a very tall watchtower. A man in gleaming black armor with a two-handed sword watches the village from up there, and you believe that this is Lord Beric, the hostile lord who has taken to holding down the peasantry in this area. You can see the knight with black armor is like pointing to things and shouting at people, and inside the motte, the gate will open and a runner will come out and go down and then do something in the town, whether it's kick a shopkeeper or whether it's like take a goat from somebody. These runners keep going down and enforcing Lord Beric's power. At the edge of the village, as you're riding up, a young woman sees you and is like, "Oh, my lord knight, perhaps you'd best turn around. This village is closed for the season."
Village close to a vassal knight of the king.
Of the king, King Arthur.
That's the one.
Well, as you can see here, this proclamation says that only the lord of this particular village may invite guest knights, and she like points to this massive sign where it's like not actual legislature. You can tell that she doesn't know how to read. It's just gibberish garbage that someone has painted up here. And she's like, as you can clearly see, our Lord Beric has enforced the codes that were set down 300 years ago by his ancestors. I must insist that you turn around and quickly before he sees you.
Would you mind reading me that sign?
Oh,
if you would?
I'm afraid, sir. And she just kind of sputters and smooths her dress.
That's okay. Are the people happy here? Because that sign would suggest they're not.
I don't know what you mean. We're a lawful folk. We follow the law, sir.
Whose law?
The king's law, Lord Beric's law. The law set down by the elders.
Well, Lord Beric and the king seem to be on different pages of the rule book.
So when you say that, she goes extremely pale, except for just a little blush at her cheeks, and is just like, Are you suggesting that Lord Beric is a treasonous knight?
Whoa.
I'm not suggesting anything, but I would like to have a talk with him.
She just goes, um,
Treason is a very, very serious matter. I wouldn't throw it around lightly.
so she, like, catches her breath and sits down on a nearby rock and just says, I have warned you of the laws, Sir Knight. If you wish to proceed, you may. But, oh my.
Well, I do not know your name, so I don't know who let me in, so there's no one to come after. Good day, madam.
She just kind of nods. It's like, yes, you don't know my name. Yes, that's good. All right, then. As you walk past, she picks up her basket and heads out into the forest you've come from, picking mushrooms in your wake. When you enter the town, there's a mixed reaction. It's that same thing that happens every time a sheriff goes into a western town in the cowboy movies.
Yeah,
like, some people like stop what they're doing. Some people are like, the young men are like, yeah, like all the kids under 16, and all the men are like closing their windows or gathering up their young ones. Mothers are just like, oh my, no, it's happening. People begin lining the streets towards Lord Beric's fortress, watching you go.
So I'm just gonna stray forward and hold the things and march up.
What is the name of your horse, by the way? Can we get a description of the horse? Every time we've had knights on this show, they've always had really impressive horses.
So I think it's like a
House.
black mare.
It was a cow. That's right.
I think it's a black stallion, pretty much. From his name is Warwick.
Warwick.
That's a good name.
It's a thing on the map I just stole.
He's one of the one of the young boys. He's dressed a little finer than all the others. He's got on like a leather jerkin, and he's got a wooden sword on his back, and just generally seems to have that mark of privilege that, he's been fed well, that kind of deal. He looks like he's of a social class higher than the people around him. Bright red hair, curved down, anime hero style, where all of the hairs form a perfect C, like Attack on Titan. And he says, my lord, might I walk you to the Martin Bailey, then?
And you would be?
My name is Penwith, sir. Penwith.
Very well, Penwith. Lead the way.
So the boy is just like, well, that's Mott the grocer, and that's Roja, and over there's the butcher shop, just in case you needed to know any of these things. So
I'll look around and like humor him a little bit.
And that's when he drops the bombshell on you as you're walking. Are you looking for a squire, perhaps, sir? I noticed you ride without one.
We'll see how this meeting goes first. How about that?
Oh. How do you expect it to go?
Well, I don't know. There's a sign up front that says it might go poorly.
Really? He like looks back towards the front end of the village. He says, I thought it was just gibberish.
It's gibberish that says your lord claims a little bit more power than he ought to.
My lord. And that's when you reach the front of the Mott and Bailey. And atop it, someone makes a heraldry roll to see if they can recognize who you are. Nope. No, they don't know who you are. So someone pops over the top with a trumpet and is like, "Bah, bah, 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 bah. Announcing knight. What's your name down there?"
Elias.
Elias of where or what? By what are you known?
Elias of Newton Tony, Justicar to the King Arthur.
Just a call to the King Arthur, Sir Elias of Newton Tony. And then you like hear a muffled reply back, and the herald goes, Sir Elias, just a call to the King Arthur. What is your business here?
I've heard tale of your lord enacting some old laws. The king wishes to know more about them and the actions here.
All right, so the gates slowly creak open, and the young man who's been taking the reins of your horse, like, offers to help you get down off of the horse.
Oh, I'll take the offer and like once I'm down on the ground, like turn around and smooth out the saddle, like the cloth on my horse, and give him a pat on the shoulder and walk towards the door.
Okay, he's gonna take the horse to the stable, and Lord Barrick comes down from his watchtower, all gleaming black armor and great sword. Pulls up the faceplate of his mail and says, "Who goes there? Sir Elias. I've never heard of a knight like you before. Must not have won any tournaments or jousts. Not like Lord Barrick, winner of the tournament at Gloucester in 515. Not like Lord Barrick, defeater of the bandits at Warrensis. Not like Lord Barrick at all." And you can see some of his men are like, ha 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 ha. Rightly so, my lord. Not like Lord Barrick at all.
Does Lord Barrick always speak in third person?
He slams his faceplate down and says, Lord Barrick will speak as he wants to. You claim to be here on behalf of the king, his Justicar. What injustices do you see here? Are men placed up on crosses? Do bandits roam this area? I think not. I think not, Sir Elias. Perhaps you should ride on to some place where your skills might be better put to use.
Do I have like any sort of parchment or anything, or just like the command to go forth? And
I feel like you're a knight errant. You just have the command of the king, right? They don't like give you a scroll that says you're a private detective now.
mm-hmm.
It's kind of just assumed by you being one of the king's knights. He's clearly trying to get rid of you here.
Yeah. If there's nothing wrong, you wouldn't mind me looking around for a while then, would you? I will gladly go on my way if I find nothing amiss.
You can hear the creaking of the leather of his gloves as his fist just kind of clenches, and he says, You would have me keep you here in my home, then?
At least in this town.
I will show you hospitality if you will show me gratitude, Sir Elias.
I will show you gratitude if you show any shred of leadership that is fitting your position.
Oh my goodness. Before you say that, I feel like it's probably pretty important that you make a roll here, since,
Okay.
I mean, you're in his house, and that would be pretty badly. Oh boy.
I mean, he seems like a right douchebag. So
That's true. That's true. I almost wonder whether this would be a forgiving roll or a just roll. See, oh, no. Is there a proud one? Yes, there is. There's a proud one. I mean, here's the thing. You're going into his house and you're like, you're doing a bad job and I'm about to wreck you over it. And he's trying to trick you into accepting his hospitality. It's all the traditional knightly things. I feel like it's going to be a pride roll. So if you want to test your pride trait real quick.
Oh god, I'm not very prideful.
That's good. You absolutely do not want to be. Oh no, you do want to be pride here. Yeah, you want to wreck him. All right, we'll see.
Well, I want to. If there's like an ugly truth kind of thing, I guess.
I don't
'Cause
think they have that.
I think he might know that what he's doing is not good, but he's like
Oh,
he's
Lord
getting
Barrick?
rich.
No, Lord
He's getting
Barrick
rich off.
absolutely knows what he's doing is bad.
Yeah, but he's getting rich off it. So who would care?
Exactly. No, it's simply the way you're approaching the situation is not in comportment with the way a knight would normally work. Right? You're being very forthright about confronting him here, especially when he offers you
Is his station
hospitality.
above mine?
Yes, he is a lord,
Okay.
and you are a knight. You're also in his house, in his keep, I should say.
Yeah.
So make your pride roll, and let's see if you can nail this.
Is there modifiers?
Nope. So you need to get a 7 or lower. If you get a 7, you will crit it.
6?
That's a modesty roll, but yes, a 6 is exactly what you need.
Oh, there's dice on both sides. Okay.
Yep. No, you say what you say, and Lord Barrick is like, you dare, sir. You dare.
Not much of a dare. It's more of a statement.
I will remember this when I give my report to the king about your actions. Look about my home. Speak with my people if you must. You will find everything I do is completely accounted for. Boy, come here! And he gestures to the young lad that you'd seen before.
The one person I spoke from your village told me to run away.
Lies! Lies, all of it.
Are you suggesting I'm a liar?
No, I'm suggesting the person you spoke to is a liar.
Fair enough.
Why would you run from here? We have plenty of food. We have plenty of water and wine. The people here are happy. They are happy that they are ruled by the compassionate yet iron fist of Lord Beric.
Can I look around and see if anyone looks happy?
So you're inside the keep. All of his men are doing the thing that all villainous henchmen do, where they're all like, hey, that's right. We're a slightly higher social class than our neighbors, because we're the villain henchmen.
All of your henchmen look very villainous.
That's what you say to him.
No, but it's like I think I'll do like all of your henchmen.
You're really pushing the edge of knightliness here.
Well, like I think I'll just like, because like
You know what? You've already made a proud roll.
yeah,
We've followed through on this. If you want to just get real with this guy, we'll go with it.
yeah. I think I'd like soften up a little bit and be like, people seem outwardly happy, but even your cattle seem happy, even though they are stuffed into barns at night, whipped. I don't see much of a difference.
So he looks confused at you and pulls up his faceplate and says, "Are you mad, sir? One does not care about the happiness of cattle, only the quality of their beef."
But you treat your townsfolk as cattle. Do you care about their happiness?
You insult me a second time within my house. A third, and you will not last the morning, Sir Elias. I warn you to watch your tongue.
I think like okay. I'll just like shrug and I'll take that one. I won't smart mouth him back.
All right, so he calls the red-headed boy over and sends him with you and says, "This is my son. Don't mind what he tells you. His name is Worthram. He's worthless, and basically do whatever you wish with him. He will find you to wherever you need to be. And don't listen to any of that nonsense about him becoming a knight. The boy has the tumors, you know. Every time he holds a sword, he starts shaking and falls over. Basically, the worst son a man such as myself could possibly have."
Noted. I'll just like give him a quick look up and down.
Is he Renarin? That's a good question. Is he Renarin? I guess there's some similarity there. That's tremors, not tumors. Yeah, so
I was gonna correct him on that, but I'm like, I said I wouldn't. I said I wouldn't do it, so I'm not gonna do it.
uh yeah, I might have misspoken
Oh,
myself.
is
Not
my
not
camera
Lord
like
Barrick.
super?
You just suddenly above you, like right up here, you've got a light source coming in.
I think that's the sun.
Yes, that is a pretty good light source.
Is that? No, wait.
I hear it's very strong in Canada.
Yep.
The
I'll
sun.
just like.
There you go. Now that your face is in the way. Nope. There we go. You
I'll
just have
just,
to sit very specifically, remain perfectly still.
whenever I say something really glorious, I'll just like.
Excellent. So we've got Worthram with you now. He joins your party in RPG fashion. And Worthram is like, "Oh, Sir Lias, I'm so proud to be your temporary squire. By the way, if you need a full-time squire, I'm perfectly available."
That's good. Do you have your father thinks you have aspirations of being a knight? Is this true?
Yes, of course. Of course I'm going to be a knight. I'm the firstborn son of a lord. I'm going to be a knight. Don't listen to him. He's stupid.
I mean, he
Actually, you
sounds.
should listen to him. He's the local lord. And he's my dad. And he, like, looks down at his feet.
Would you show me around town a little bit? I'd like to test your father's
Boom, he's already gone back to your horse.
claim.
You're, you look over. There's just this empty outline of where he used to be standing.
Yeah.
Bringing the
Okay.
horse back over to you. Yeah. No. It's this is a great village. It's great. You know, some people call it Zephyria, the magical village of mushrooms. There's nothing magical about it, but we do have a wide variety of non-poisonous, mostly mushrooms.
Mostly.
Non-poisonous, mostly mushrooms is a new band name.
Is there
You guys
anything in
did.
particular you're looking for, Sir Knight?
I'd just like to talk to the townspeople a little bit.
Okay.
Maybe go to the blacksmith and see if he can. I might have some gear that needs retooling after the long journey.
All right. He takes you to the blacksmith. It's much smaller than what you would assume. It's kind of like the one in Skyrim in uh, Whiterun? Whatever the first major city you go to that only has like 2 people tending the forge.
Okay.
It's like that. Like this is a
Like
town of hundreds of
first one,
people.
the first one as soon as you enter the
Yes.
white run, or okay.
Yep. There's only 2 people tending to the shop and forge, a journeyman and his apprentice. And the journeyman turns. His apprentice is a young woman who's just like hammering out dents in pots, and he sees you coming and says, "Ha! Well, look at this fancy nightman riding up."
Yes. Hello. How is the business going?
Well, it was going great until you showed up. I assume you want me to bang some dents out of something?
Yes.
I don't do kind of fine quality work like that. And he gestures to where his apprentice is like hammering out dents with a big mallet. That's the kind of work we do. Not castle forged steel like what you have, Sir Knight. So if you're expecting the top quality work of the realm, you better be prepared.
I'm just looking. If you could look over my horse and see we've traveled a long way. I just want to make sure all the wear and tears won't get in the way.
Oh. Well. Yeah. Yes. Yes, I could do that.
Very good.
All right. So he seems surprised by your request. Like he was expecting you to give him some great task that he'd never be able to accomplish, and when you're just like, "Look at my horse," he just like picks up the horse's horseshoes and is like, "Oh, well, see, this is your problem right here. We're gonna need to probably take a day to work these out, you know."
That sounds good.
You
Oh,
you do have permission for this, right?
Permission?
Yeah. I'm afraid that my shop's been possessed by Lord Barrick. I can only do whatever work he allows me to until I repay my debt.
Well, I am under his hospitality for the time being, so I think this will be all right.
Okay. He looks
And
at you, then he looks at Worthram, and then he looks at you, and then he looks at Worthram. And he's just going back and forth like, I don't know.
it's like, what debt do you speak of?
Ah, hardly worth mentioning. Apparently, according to some decades-old land document, my parents never finished paying off the value of the land that this blacksmithery is built upon, so we've been in arrears, and the interest rates are far more than I can ever hope to make, but with luck, perhaps one day my son or daughter might be able to recover the cost.
Hmm.
The problem is the interest grows greater every day. If I can only do whatever Lord Barrick tells me to do, I must also pay whatever price he demands.
That seems troublesome.
It's a troublesome world we live in.
Have you ever seen the document that claims that you never paid?
Oh, I don't do reading, my lord.
Do you have it on you? Do you have it
No,
somewhere?
Lord Barrick has it. This is a troubling question you ask. Why would Lord Barrick lie? And like, yeah, like Werther beside
Why?
you is like about to start crying. He's like, yeah, why would my dad lie? Like everyone's suddenly like super worried. Probably the young woman banging out the pots just like stops and turns like, oh shit, this just got real.
Would you mind if we head inside for a moment?
Who are you talking to? The blacksmith?
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll say, uh, I don't know, Sir Knight. This kind of talk is dangerous. Can you make a trusting roll real quick?
Trusting. 7.
Wow, excellent. Good roll. All right. You know, I've heard of you before, Sir Elias. They say you're a just man. I feel safe speaking with you on this matter. And he steps inside his shop. There's a little dinging bell. You know, one of those ones that when the door opens, it slams into it. The two of you step inside. It's not, again, it's not like a castle blacksmithery. There's not weapons all over the wall.
It's like a single room dwelling kind of
yeah,
thing.
you know, you could clearly see where these two sleep behind a curtain sheet. And then he's got pots and pans, practical things, rather than like armor and swords. There's probably like one sword and a shield on a mounting board, and like half of a piecemeal armor set, just in case.
Yeah.
What would you like to speak to me about?
Well, you seemed nervous speaking about that in the open air.
Yes, well, questioning Lord Barrick is against the law.
Of course it is. All tyrannical leaders tend to do that. I'll be straight with you, sir. I'm here on a mission from King Arthur himself
Gasp.
to rid the lands of tyranny such as this. Injustices against the people of Arthur's court. As though you're very far away from the court physically, I assume. But you are a member of the kingdom of Arthur. And you deserve all the rights that every other citizen of Arthur has.
So he's got like stars in his eyes, anime style, when you're looking at him and telling him this, and he's just like, you mean King Arthur himself sent you here to solve all problems?
Yep.
And he like falls to his knees and is like, thank you, Lord Jesus Christ. You have answered our prayers and sent to us this great knight.
I think I'd be like, yes, I'm on a mission. I am a man of God as well. So we are.
What? He like stumbles to get up for a second and uses
Yeah.
his forge hammer to help pick himself up.
Yeah.
I must tell you, Lord Beric has no reason to lie over this document. He is a good man, and if he says that my family must pay, then we must pay. And though the Bible speaks against usury, the interest payments he asked for are reasonable, but they are, sadly, so behind on the times.
Hmm. If it was shown that this document was twisted or manipulated in any way,
The blacksmith gasped again.
even if your father's father's father still owed the land, that document would have been overwritten by some of Arthur's laws of the land. If it is 10 years old, who's to say if it's still valid?
Oh, it's decades old. What, you mean King Arthur has made new laws in regards to property management? I'd not heard of this. How would we know without a knight like yourself to tell us?
Yes, and how would. The only way you would know is if your lord would have told you. And it's of no financial gain to him.
He's like sweating
Right.
right now, like bloop, 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 because he can't speak out against the Lord, but he's also like, wait a second, this is getting really suspicious.
Like he's starting to come around and be like, oh, did he know before? He was just like, I gotta do it anyway. What the fuck?
Hard to say with this blacksmith, but definitely now he's like, uh-oh, this could be trouble. My great knight, I wouldn't want you to trouble yourself too much on my behalf. There could be consequences if you act out against Lord Beric. Even if you were in the right, like he's going through the hypothetical. Even if you were in the right, they say that Lord Beric has lopped off many a man's head. He did fight the bandits in several places, including single-handedly helping to win the Battle of Orensense.
A strong sword arm does not a leader make.
If you are so sure of both your leadership and your sword arm, then I wish you luck. We'll keep working on your horse's horseshoes.
Very well. Do you know of other townsfolk that are in the same predicament as you?
He begins listing other business owners who've had their businesses like repossessed or forcibly acquired by Beric. That's a popular one where, yeah, he explains to you, it's like the butcher. Beric demanded that he be given the chance to buy the butcher's business. He paid it for full price, but now the butcher works for him. He's a rich man in a poor town, and he no longer even owns his own shop.
I think I turned to the boy. It's like, well, take me to the butcher now.
He's just like, oh boy, well, your horse has got to stay here. I can carry your sword though, and your shield.
Are they're I think my shield would be too heavy for him, but like my sword inside the leather scabbard or like the
Yeah.
leather and metal scabbard, I just like unhook the leather strap, like strap it around his shoulder on his back, be like, take care of that.
All right. Even under the weight of, I mean, it's not like the sword weighs 50, 60 pounds, but even under the
No.
weight of it, he's like, oh, ugh. It is almost hunchbacked following you around now.
I think I like look behind him like, if you're ever going to be a knight, you're going to need to learn how to carry one of those.
But, I mean, is it really necessary? I mean, not that I need to tell you how to be a knight, but isn't it true that some knights just he like starts jogging to get ahead of you a little bit so you could slow down and catch his breath? Isn't it true that some knights spend all of their time managing their property and reading books and writing letters and stuff like that.
Oh, that's true to a point, but if you get called to war, you must go.
Uh, yeah, well, I mean, what if I was a Carugian? You know, they need smart people to like chop off limbs and stuff. You get to the butcher shop and you could literally just hear someone right there like, "Kloosh."
Like, we'll speak of this a little later. Like, I'll hand it or put on my hand to have my sword back.
All right, he hands you the sword shakily.
Yeah. Well, you carried it all of 30 feet. Good work.
I think it's a little further than 30 feet. But yeah, let's say it's a 300 feet. But
Yeah.
yes, he's
But
considerably weaker than he should be for his age.
yeah. I'll give him a little bit of confidence. Be like, look, you did it that far. You'll get there eventually. Maybe.
He's like wiping his forehead off with his sleeves and just, yeah, I'm doing good. I'm doing good today.
Is he just like super, super thin and malnourished, or is he like a bigger kid that just
No, I mean, he's thin, but he's not malnourished. He just seems, I don't know,
Not
weaker
strong.
than he should be, for sure.
Okay.
You open the door to the butcher shop. It's not like, again, it's not like a modern day butcher shop. There's dead animals, meat hanging down, salted
open the door and there's
everywhere.
like it bumps a thing on a hook? And just,
Yeah,
like, springs
exactly.
when you come in.
It's like a Rocky training montage in here. Everything is salted. Salted to hell. And the butcher's in the back chopping up a chicken, and he's just like, "Oi! Who are you?"
My name is Sir Elias from King
Ah.
Arthur.
A knight. Well, come to take some of my stock, then.
Not at all. I'd like to speak about your predicament with Lord Barrick.
Ugh,
What's his
well,
name?
yes, Lord Barrick. Well, it's something of a problem, for sure, but I don't know that a knight needs to get involved.
I've been told by the king that I am to be involved.
Ah, well, I'm sure you can understand. Lord Barrick bought my business. I have a lot of money, but because I'm still one of Lord Barrick's serfs, I can't go anywhere. So I can't spend the money on anything except what Lord Barrick sells. It's just a simple fact of life. I'd love to be able to go somewhere, you know?
A lord essentially locking you into your shop is a simple fact of life.
I mean, in the medieval times, yes. Like this, King Arthur would definitely fight something like this, but this isn't that surprising in medieval times.
Yeah.
I mean, this is again the perfect villainous knight scenario, and he's just, Sir Knight, you're not from these lands. You're not one of us. You know, you were born a great man. I am not a great man, just a wealthy one now. Even wealth doesn't get you what you want. You have to be born to such greatness. By God's great hand.
Well, that may be the case. But the king currently has more sympathy towards people like yourself, not born of nobility,
Aye.
to give them more freedom, you know?
Is that so? King Arthur himself come to my butcher shop in order to tell me about how much freedom I have. I'll believe it when I see it.
I don't know if I'd be able to coax the king to come here, but as a knight on a mission from the king, it's the next best thing, don't you think?
I'll admit, you are an impressive looking man. You seem like you've got all of your knightly equipment. I'm a little concerned that you're carrying a sword around.
Yeah. I gave it to the boy to walk over here. Do you know the king's son wishes to be a knight one day? Or the
You mean Lord Barrick's son?
Lord Barrick's son wishes to be a knight one day.
Werthram.
Is the boy on like the outside of the door just
Yes.
like ah?
He's listening to this whole conversation. You can like see him peeking his head up through a dirty window. Oh boy, a knight! Ha! I would never speak poorly of my liege. But the boy, he'll never be a knight, no matter what he's born to. Can't find a knight to squire him. A very serious problem. And a good one too. The boy'd get himself killed. I have a soft spot for
Possibly.
him. I try to give him the best cuts, but he's weak. I don't think he'd be able to chop a man in half. And he like hefts his enormous arms in his big butcher's knife. I know a little bit about that. I'm sure you do too.
Indeed. Cutting through, getting to the soft spot of chainmail, it's a skill that takes some time.
I don't know anything about that, but I do know that if there is such a skill, that boy's never gonna be the one to learn it.
He may in time. How old is the kid, by the way?
He's like the younger end of 16.
So he's like,
He's
Oh,
supposed to be a man at this point, basically.
yeah. So he's like already supposed to be a squire if he's going to be a knight
Yes.
by now.
Yep.
Well, I guess I'll just come here and ask what I meant to ask. Are you ordered to be happy?
Ordered to be happy. You act as if happiness is something that just happens, Sir Elias.
Well, it would happen much easier if you were not under such duress, correct?
Duress. I follow the laws of the land. So does Sir Beric. I'll admit, privately, I am upset that my shop has been bought, but it's all perfectly legal. If I am amiss about it, it's because I've been locked into this life. But God has made the nobles, and the nobles make the laws. If I wish to follow the wishes of God, I have to follow the wishes of Lord Beric. That's simply my lot in life.
Hmm.
Wow, chat's going
Well-
all Phantom Menace here.
He's going, yeah. He's too old for the trials. We will not train him. Sick.
We grant you a seat on this council, but not the rank of master.
So I threw the Senate at them. Anyway, shit, what was I gonna say? I'm still trying to parse out how I'm gonna I think I have to dethrone the Lord.
You can try to call him on his crimes, or just challenge him to a duel. Just be like, "Shit, son, it's
Yeah.
dueling time."
Well, I'm almost trying to get like the goodwill of the people and then have a bit of an uprising happen if worst comes to worst.
So the thing about Arthurian times is that nobles get really uncomfortable when the peasants start rebelling against other nobles, because it undermines their own. Like,
Well, if they're not enacting ancient laws to trap their
true.
people, then they shouldn't be. Then they should be reassured that, like, you know,
All right, I feel like we can. Let me ask a question. Do you feel like maybe you want to give a speech to rally the peasantry behind you?
well, like I'm trying to talk to the local leaders, I guess, like people that most people would have to go to on a regular basis, to be like, hey, something's wrong. I'm here to fix it. If I have your trust, like, if I show you that this is wrong, will you fall behind me? I'll take on Barrack. That's fine.
Oh boy. All right, let's see here.
If I die, there'll be another knight who's not as nice to come in here and wreck show.
All right. I feel like what you need to do is make an orate check.
Oh, did I take orate?
I don't think you did, but fortunately, you can try to enact a passion. If you want to.
Can I enact loyalty to like the established order that Arthur is putting.
Yeah, so your loyalty is directly to your king, Arthur.
Yeah.
And that's what you're trying to bring about, so you can definitely attempt a passion roll in that regard.
Okay.
For those at home, this is going Super Saiyan. Yeah, you are filled. Probably what happens is you're standing near a window and the sunrise hits you just perfectly.
Where
and
is
you're
it?
Filled with
No, it's gone.
you're filled with the light of God as you call upon your knightly passion for your lord King Arthur and his justice. And now you make an orate roll. This will cover not just this guy but everyone else you talk to. It's like you're going through the town. You get a plus 10 on this roll for your
skills orate.
Yep. So you
Modify
have a
plus
13.
10.
That's not bad.
Do I modify to a 10?
No, I just roll it as is and we'll add the 10 to it.
Okay. Oof.
That's going to be a failure.
Yep.
So you go through the town. What's your persuasion style? Are you like, people of the world, it is I, Sir Elias? Or are you like a calm, quiet speaker? You do a lot of personal one-on-one stuff. How do you approach these people?
One-on-one and or quiet to groups. I'm not like the big boisterous person. I'm fairly modest in my oration.
Yeah, I think it works against you. You get the feeling that these townsfolk, if you had been able to get a lot of them together at one time and passionate about something, they might have followed you. But every time you spoke to one, they would give you the excuse of I don't want to upset the order. I don't know if anybody else is going to go through with this. Like, we need to be very careful because Lord Barrick's in charge.
Oh, if I failed... Oh, if I fail a passion roll, then I go madness. Okay.
I think if you fail the thing you're aiming your passion at, there's a problem still. I think you become depressed.
Okay.
So let's see here. Passions. Traits. Nope, that's not it. My PDF is super small. There we go. Passions, page 73. You succeeded. You're inspired and acts in accordance. Make sure you check your passion. Not that it'll be useful because we're not going to do the winter phase, but inspiration. You choose one skill, which was orate. You get a plus 10 to it. If you fail to perform a deed you were inspired to, you suffer shock. You age immediately. So when you find out that no one wants to do this rebellion with you,
I feel incredibly old.
Yeah, you look at your beard hair, you realize you have like one gray there or something. Wait, you don't have a beard, do you?
No.
No.
Like my hair dropped over my shoulder. There's one singular.
Oh, yes, of course. There's a single
white.
lock. Of course.
Yeah.
It's bad. Like, you're just like, oh my goodness, these people don't want justice for themselves. They're too afraid.
Yeah. Well, that didn't work. So I think
Wortham pops up next to you and is just like, well, you're right, it didn't work. You know, I'm a little concerned that you're speaking against my dad like this. Have you thought maybe you should be a little nicer to people? I think courtesy is an important aspect of interpersonal relationships. I heard that once. It sounds like a very good quote.
You're actually right. You might become a knight yet. I've been approaching this wrong.
He's like, yes. Then he straightens back up and he's like, temporary squire for a day.
Yeah, awesome.
Exactly.
Everything coming up Millhouse.
Wow. Actually, this guy is pretty Millhousey. I'll agree with that.
Oh, man. So I guess, like, if it's the night, then I have to go somewhere to sleep, right?
Yeah.
Is that like, am I at the
Barrack's place?
Am I at his manor, or
I mean, if you want to go there, you can. He tentatively and grudgingly offered you hospitality, back when you were repeatedly insulting him. You could
Okay.
try to stay someplace else if you want. There is a small church, a British Christian church.
British.
British, I know. You're Roman Christian.
Yeah. I think I might go to the church for guidance, I guess. So I'm like, I've been approaching this wrong. Maybe I need to be nicer. But he's a tyrant. But
You arrive, and there's a number of women who are cleaning the area up. At your approach, they all like flee like a flock of birds. And a fat old tonsured monk comes out and is just like, "Oh yes, of course. I've heard of you, Sir Elias. Isn't that right?
it is, Father.
Come in, my boy. Come in. We've got a mushroom stew on the pot. I hope you like mushrooms, because we've also got a mushroom salad."
I hear the mushrooms here are well, this place is known for those, aren't is it not?
Yes, Zephyria. We're known for our mostly non-poisonous mushrooms. That's a point of pride among the people here.
I just see like on the shelf at Safeway, mostly non-poisonous mushrooms.
Exactly.
Mostly non-poisonous organic mushrooms. God. Okay. I think I'll loosen my cloak and like drape it where I know to like I've been in the church before.
Yeah.
Obviously. So like I'll put my stuff in the right places and follow the father for a meal.
So he and the women folk are all sitting down. The four women that are here all just kind of nod shyly to you. One of them waves. Then they all get back to like passing bowls around and moving all of the food around the table. The friar says, well, we have guests tonight. Not just you, Sir Elias, but also Janine, Annis, Iaso, and Marge. Just
Nod
they-
at them as we go around. Just kind of exchange pleasantries, I guess.
you recognize the young woman who waved at you to be the same one you met at the edge of the forest who had the basket looking for mushrooms.
Yeah. The one that was like, no, leave, go
Yes,
away.
exactly.
I think I'll like give an extra deep bow to her and like, I see you.
So, Sir Elias, how have you been finding Zephyria? That's what we call it, you know. It's not what they call it on the map, but it's been Zephyria since my great-grandfather, and we'll be calling it Zephyria for my great-grandchildren.
So you've been here quite a while then, Friar.
Well, I was born here.
Were you here before Lord Barrick?
Yeah, oh, yes. I ministered to Lord Barrick's father. I Christianized the boy. Still think of him as a boy, even though he's a man now. Ah.
How was his father as a ruler?
As a ruler? Well, that's an interesting question. Well, his father ruled during the time after Uther died.
Hard time to rule.
A hard time to rule indeed. I remember those days well. And not fondly either. They aren't like now, not with Arthur's peace. Bandits everywhere. You never knew who you could trust. Your neighbors from 30 miles down the road could be trying to kill you in the morning simply because someone told them to do it. You know, there was no leadership anywhere. Everyone was in it for themselves. They all wanted to be the King of England. Well, look who's the king now. The rightful king, of course. The rightful king.
True.
Lord Barrick's father, Tomeric, was a hard man. And our village survived through hard choices. We had to turn away outsiders. I'm not too proud to say it, but sometimes I think of what we could have done differently if we'd just followed the teachings of Lord Christ just a little more closely. Hadn't turned those people away. one group in the winter. Had to send them back into the mountains. It was a shame, but you know, in those days it was different. It was different. You couldn't trust outsiders. Couldn't trust knights just off the road. Never knew whether it was just some bandit who had killed a knight and taken his armor. You know, someone might just want to come in and take your stuff, or take your women, or take the young men and lead them off somewhere and make them into their army. It was a bad time. It was a bad time. I'll say this. Lord Beric is a hard man like his father.
Seems
While this whole conversation has been going on, all of the women have just been like slowly eating the mushroom stew, not looking at either of you.
yeah. I think I'll leave the questions for now and just begin eating and like
Well,
kind of,
let me ask you a question, Sir Elias. You
Yes.
seem like a strong young boy.
Oh.
As you can see here, we've got no shortage of mushrooms in Zephyria.
I can see that.
Yes, but we do have a slight problem. You know, just it's sometimes very hard to get meat around here.
Mm. Well, I talked to the butcher. His shop has been bought by Barrack, correct?
Yes, I'm sure you can see the problem here. Then,
Has all the meat been co-opted by the Lord then?
yes, I wouldn't say co-opted.
I didn't mean to offend. I'm trying to be a little bit nicer to the Lord, you see.
Oh, how courteous of you. And then he like makes the sign of the cross.
I don't like do the shoulder thingy.
Yeah. I'm sure the Lord would look kindly upon it, both Lord Beric and the Lord in heaven.
Hmm.
So, perhaps, if you have the time, you could go hunting. If you were to bring us back some meat, well, we could pay the butcher to prepare it and set something aside in the church cellar, you know, for the cold or for the sick or something like that, you know.
Something to boost some strength for someone who needs it. Hmm. How does Lord Barrack feel about people hunting? Are most of the hunters under his employ?
Oh, yes, of course, and it would be rude to hunt on his lands without his permission. That's
True.
so. This guy's like pushing into his 60s. He's moderately obese, but he's still fronting with you. He's just like, oh, if I thought I could get permission, I'd do it myself. You know, I'm quite the hunter. I'm very skilled. Yes.
Yeah, you look like you have killed quite a few beasts in your day.
Ah, I'm glad you say something like that. Yes. A savage, they called me.
Do you know if they have regular hunts?
Oh,
Just-
no, the Lord Beric occasionally has a private hunt, but
Hmm.
you know, he takes the best hunters with him, and they come back with something normally.
Hmm.
The butcher's well stocked, but you know, it's expensive, very expensive to get any meat that's not from Beric's. Just salted, old.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well,
Just hoping to put something away for the community. Just a thought to think about if you were being charitable.
I'll think on it. I do have matter from the king to take care of.
Of course, Sir Knight. I would never want to interfere with what you were doing for the king.
Perhaps I could persuade the generous Lord Barrack to bestow some meat on the citizens.
I think he was going to laugh, and then he doesn't. You could tell he's gonna laugh at that idea that Beric would do that. And he said, yes, that could succeed. That thing that Drew said.
I think could I catch him like right before he laughs? I'm like, sorry, is something humorous?
Ah, Lord Beric is not as generous as one would expect of a Christian knight.
I see. Was he a knight at one point? Is he a
Oh,
lord of the?
he's just still a knight.
Yeah, he's just a lord of the area
Yes, yep, all of that. Things.
stuff.
Yes.
Politics, you know. Uh,
Actually, I hate to say it, but he's rather well known for his selfishness.
hmm.
You know, the Lord says not to gossip and all of that, but
Yes, well, sometimes selfishness and a strong sword arm make people think they're strong leaders when they're in fact not.
that could be. That's not my place to judge.
Aye, not mine either. The only judge is that I like to do the little.
Yep, he does it as
shot
well.
here.
Just like, boop, 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 boop.
Yeah. Well, much to think about. I should retire.
Can I offer you a room to stay?
If you would. I've been offered a place at the Lord's, but begrudgingly. As you said yourself, he's not not really into giving things away. Especially to one who regrettably rubbed him the wrong way when we first met.
I see. Well, hopefully you can enjoy this much better. I'm afraid it's just a sleeping pallet and a dusty old pillow, but
I have slept on less when I was younger.
yeah, yes. Well, I'm sure on your trip here you slept on worse.
Hmm.
Is there anything else you want to do in your meeting with the friar?
No, I might want to like have a quick conversation with the lady. What was her name?
Marge.
Marsh.
Yeah, are you
I'll look,
pulling Marge aside?
well, I'll look at her and be like, "You look awfully familiar."
Oh, yes, we met this morning at the sign.
Yes. You warned me to leave.
Yeah,
Why?
she like looks at everybody else here. Yeah, I believe you're misremembering, sir.
Ah, I may be mis. I'm getting old, as I'm like 23, ripe old age.
Everyone laughs politely.
Yeah, I think I'll like.
So I should say, 23 isn't old for a knight. It's old for someone who is starting as a knight, right? It's like
Yeah,
someone who graduated college super late. Not that I know anything about that. Uh,
yeah, yeah.
but yeah,
I,
she's just kind of very hesitant to talk about this in front of
yeah.
everybody else.
I think I'd like to like. I'd be like, oh, I've forgotten something. I'm gonna need more than just my hands, even though Would you, Marjorie? Would you accompany me?
So she looks at the friar and all the other women here, and they're like, so scandalous. She can't go with him alone. And the friar's like, no, quite right. Couldn't possibly do. And then she just gets up and leaves with you.
Like, cool.
Is
So
there something you wanted to talk about, Sir Knight?
I would like to know why you told me to leave. I would notice that you are uncomfortable in front of everyone else.
Well, it's not proper for the two of us to be walking alone. I'm an unmarried woman.
And I am an unmarried knight.
She just nods, like, yep, that's the problem.
But I am I'm in a bond with my work at the moment. I would just like to know what's going on in this town.
It's.
How did you end up here? How did
I was born here. Most of us were. People don't come to Zephyria.
right? Hmm. It's a very hard thing to
You should
make
leave.
I've heard that multiple times from you, no less.
It's not safe.
It's not safe for the citizens here either. Indeed, not safe for the law itself if this lord of yours is going to take it into his own hands.
So she looks several times like she's going to interrupt you and then kind of looks down at the ground instead. Lord Beric will probably kill you.
If he kills me,
Follows the old ways, trial by combat and that kind of thing.
I have some combat experience. Just a little bit,
I dabble.
Yeah. In between, I've been really busy with work, but I'd pick up the sword and swing it around a little bit.
She just looks at you strangely during this monologue babble. She's just like, right, well,
I would rather it not come to that, you understand?
of course, but Lord Beric, he wants it to come to that. You're not the first knight to come here. I remember a man 5 years ago came. It was before Arthur was crowned, during the dark times. The man came to put an end to Lord Beric's cruelty. Beric killed him in the streets in a duel, and then took his armor and his weapon. You can see them even now. They're still in the blacksmith shop. They should have been returned to that man's family, but Beric took them.
Well, they're still in the shop. I was just there earlier today.
Yes. There's no one to sell them to. Beric displays them like prizes. He's a bad man. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that.
It's quite all right. It's very hard for me as one man, even one sent by the king, to loosen a grip as tight as this. I'm just kind of musing to myself, I've tried to gain the people's favor, but even they seem
It could be worse.
they're afraid.
That's what they tell themselves. It could be worse.
Yes. Well, we've seen worse in the dark times for sure, but it could also be much better.
So she turns her head and looks out to the forest and says, I know that there are worse things out there.
But there are much better things out there as well.
Perhaps for you, Sir Knight.
I wish to bring those things back to this place. The injustice that's gone on here it's gone on for too long. People are too afraid to take a stand.
When you say that, she looks away from you again, like, oh shit. I heard that you spoke to the other villagers. None of them will stand for you.
If I must stand alone, then so be it.
Is that wise?
Perhaps not. But I was charged by the king to come here to fix the problem. If this is a way to fix the problem, come hell or high water.
Can you win?
Possibly. Beric is older. He hasn't had as much. He hunts on the regular basis, I understand, but he hasn't had as recent of combat experience. I think I might fare better than the knight that came here through here before.
Oh my gosh, Aracito, she looks so sad. She looks so sad. What are you doing, man? What are you doing? What are you doing? This is bad. I feel super bad for her. All right. Super sad Marge says, well, I hope that God favors your cause, Sir Knight.
I hope he does as well. Well, you should, if we return together, that might not look very good either.
She immediately turns and leaves. She's just like, yes, you're absolutely right.
She's like, I'm just like,
Boop, 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 boop.
bye. So I think I'll just go back to the church and find my room.
Okay. Next morning, wake up. Wortham is there in your room. He's got your sword and your cloak over him, and he's just like sitting in the corner, huddled, sleeping there with both of those objects covering him.
I'm assuming it's pretty much dawn because
Yep.
we wake up super early.
This is an active village. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
I think I'll,
the not crows, roosters cawing, rock-a-doodle-doo, and then everybody's out moving. Actually, I think I have a soundtrack for this.
Oh, here we go.
Yep, here we go.
Where is it?
Here we go.
There we go.
I know. Magic
Town
of
and
audio.
this is
Yep.
tabletop audio, everyone.
Tabletop audio. They're real good at what they do.
It's true. That's why Patreon. We're trying to do the same thing.
Are you saying patreon.com/drummerboy?
Yeah, I actually talked with the guy from Tabletop Audio in email a few times. He's a really nice guy.
Tim? Yeah, he's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think I'll just get up and begin to get ready. I'll let the kids sleep for another couple minutes before waking them up. They're knights get up at the crack of dawn.
He's currently drooling on your cape, and he's like, "Ah, of course. Let me get your things ready." And he bursts around, getting all of your clothes and your equipment ready and your breakfast. Even though you're clearly you could do this yourself without his help. Do you let him?
I'm already doing half the things that he's doing because he was sleeping. So I'm I was on the road. I do this thing for myself a lot of the time.
Yeah, but he actually does help out. I rolled for his squiring check and he succeeded.
Nice.
Not well, but he did succeed. So yeah, occasionally you reach out to grab something and he's already placed it in your hand. When you go to sit down, you've got a nice bowl of re-warmed mushroom stew in front of you.
I think I'm a little bit surprised. Look up and well done.
It's good to have a squire, right? Even
It is
temporary.
even temporary.
While you're eating, he's fastening your cloak and your sword on you. Around your neck, just cloak clasp, sword across.
You'd be I might be able to get used to this. Just thinking that. So
It's good to be the king. Good
I don't know
movie.
if I'm gonna tell him that me and his father might come to Blades.
Gonna go kill his father today. Yeah, not something one talks about at the breakfast table in a church.
I'm not gonna run in. I'm not gonna kick the door down with my sword and yell at him.
Barack, I've come for you.
Suddenly go actual Nathan explosion, just the heavy metal medieval soundtrack kicks in. But yeah, I'm gonna go and try to talk it first and a little bit nicer than I was before.
All right. Yeah,
And
you
I had
make your
to-
way back inside Barrack's Mott and Bailey. He's sitting down for a late breakfast with salted beef and some sort of sausage gravy biscuit combo going down.
Mm-hmm. Very southern.
He sees, the southern of the mountains of the United Kingdoms. Yes. And he says, "Ah, Sir Elias, you've returned. Come, have breakfast with me."
Oh, certainly. Actually, your son cooked me up a fairly decent night's breakfast. Well, it was rewarmed stew, but he fastened my cloak. He's got some squire abilities.
Sounds more like a page to me.
Page's first step to squire. He's a little old, sure, but he could get there.
Now, if you want the boy, you can have him.
What is the kid's face when he says that?
The kid's like, oh, yes, this is the moment. This is
Yes. So I'm gonna sit down and like the stew probably wasn't super filling because there was no meat in it. So we'll sit down and have a small bowl with Barrick.
Yeah, so Barrick's men are eating at other tables around him, but he's sitting alone with you now at the Lord's table of his hall. And he's just totally in control of the situation. He says, "So, I heard that you were out speaking with the villagers. I assume that the reports that you'll be sending back are satisfactory. Some even said you were trying to treasonously stir up support against me, but I dismissed those claims because a just knight would never do such a thing. And you are, after all, a just knight." And he's just like looking at you super shit eater style. Like, I got you. I know I got you.
I was talking to the villagers, just like reinforcing your claims that everyone is happy here and that everything is above board.
Well,
I'd like to
then
take
you'll
a
be on your way.
I'd like to take a good report back to the king.
Excellent. That would be fine by me. If Arthur was to hear how well I'm running my kingdom, perhaps they'll be running all the other lands this way too.
On
This-
that note, what are these laws that you put in place? Decades-old laws. There is wisdom to be taken from the past for sure. I would like to take a look at them.
So he pulls out a Bible and places it in front of you, and it's like, here, right here, it says I can do this. And he's got like an underlined passage from Leviticus. Right here. This is what you're looking for. The butcher shop, right?
Well, if you're expanding the butcher shop, the way you've handled the butcher shop out to the rest of the town, then I suppose this is what I'd be looking for.
So I don't know specific passages from Leviticus, but it's probably just like some random sentence that has absolutely nothing to do with law.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, like Leviticus is all.
you have read, right? Do you have read Latin?
I
I think all knights start with read 1.
I have read 0.
I don't think that's right. We probably didn't fill it in, but you definitely have read Latin.
Okay.
Uh,
Can I
You can try to make a check for it, for sure.
fork in a passion loyalty to God?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I don't.
I keep on
forking-
using fork because I
I
don't
know.
know the other term.
It's all right. It's all right. We've had multiple Burning Wheel shows on this channel. I feel like forking is an acceptable term.
So loyalty roll 13.
Yeah, it's going to be good enough. You want to add a plus 10 to your read?
Yes.
Let's do it.
Skills. Read. I just have a 1 in read?
I'm looking it up right now. So it's character creation. That's not it. Squires, vassals, blah, blah, blah. Starting skills. You begin with read Latin of 0. Yep. Okay. All right, so now you have a 10.
Okay.
Good luck.
Damn it.
No, yeah, you read the book, and this is, in nomine patre, e pluribus unum, sic semper tyrannis.
My Latin isn't as strong as I thought it was. It's been a while.
I mean, it would be bad for you to admit that you couldn't read this.
Well, I can.
He's looking at you, knowing that you can't read it. Like, that's right. These are the laws right here in this document.
I think I might. I'll look at the numbers that he's telling me, and I'll reach into my pocket and pull it in English, like a British English version. Because if I'm a knight of a Christian tradition, then I probably have a Bible on me.
I'll allow it. Oh, by the way, you go into shock again.
Yeah, I'm I'm so shook right now.
So shook. You're shook like Bran Stark.
Yeah, man.
Hashtag shook. I'm the three-eyed raven.
Oh,
Hate
man.
that kid. It's the worst.
Why?
So like,
All right, Arrow, let's do this.
No. Keep going.
No, let's do it. Let's do it. What's your problem with not hating Bran Stark?
What's your problem with Brand Stark?
Well, this is gonna be spoilers for season 7,
yeah.
so if you're not there yet, you need to get out. Are
No,
you
don't
that
get
far?
off! Oh, I am.
All right, then chat for the next like 20 seconds.
Come
Stop
on,
listening.
man.
I mean, if you want to know why I hate Bran Stark, you got to listen to this. Bran is literally like, Sansa, you were so beautiful on the night you got raped, and I was like, what the fuck, dude? Holy shit! You're the worst character in existence. And he
He's
never like.
socially awkward,
Sure, he didn't used to be the worst Game of Thrones character. Like, probably the Mountain was there down at the bottom, but he skydived from like near last place to way below last place with that line.
Wow.
So Bran Stark is a awful character.
He's pretty OP though.
I have nothing else for your Arrow. Let's cut back to the conversation in question. You are comparing your English Bible to the Latin,
yeah.
British Christian Bible that they are rocking. Oh, Arrow's right now. You can start listening.
Thank you.
Thanks, Arrow.
Oh man.
Hashtag shook.
Hashtag shook.
Really, really hate Bran Stark.
I'm a knight of Shookton.
I feel like that'd be a really cool place to be from, Shookton. I feel like you'd constantly be having stuff happen that blows your worldview away.
Yeah.
Speaking of, it blows your worldview away when you open up Leviticus and you're just like, this is not anything to do with laws. You're just like, this is a Bible, dude.
Yeah. Well, like this is laws for priests. This is priestly law. If you're gonna be a priest, then this is what you have to follow.
Probably it's not even that. I just look for a random Leviticus.
Yeah. Well, like the whole book of Leviticus is for the Levites, which is the priests.
Right.
Went
But-
to Christian university. I know some of the stuff.
He does Leviticus 19:18, which is do not seek revenge or bear a grudge against anyone among your people, but love your neighbor as you love yourself. I am the Lord. And he's like, right here, this passage explains why I'm allowed to do what I need to at that butcher's shop. God has given me permission. And you're just like, what? That's not even close to what that says.
Yep. So like in my English version, I think I'm like a little bit shocked at that. Like how could someone read this so poorly? And like maybe I get a little bit agitated.
He's agitated too, because he's like, what is that you've got there? What are you pulling out of your pocket?
Something in the King's English, you know.
All right, no,
Alright.
he shook as well.
Cool.
What?
And I like read him the passage that he just pointed out. I'm like,
Well, there's something lost in the translation. It's much better. You have to read it in the original ancient Latin.
are you calling into question the legitimacy of translations?
Are you calling into question my translation?
Your oral translation, yes.
All right, he's like, that's it. The third time you have insulted me, Sir Elias. And now we will duel for my honor.
Drawing swords over a interpretation of a Bible verse.
He slams his fist down on the
You
table.
call yourself a Christian knight.
You will meet me here in 30 minutes if you have prepared yourself. And we will see whom God favors.
Very well then.
So he does his equip phase where he like Iron Man holds his hands and arms out and people begin like plate mailing him up.
Yeah.
They hand him like a longsword and his shield and he's just like, God will favor me. I will be victorious as I have always been. And he's gonna make a passion roll to improve his sword.
Cool.
He's gonna do his passion for his household, and he is successful because he wants to hold this land.
Can you call multiple passions at once or no?
No.
Okay.
Do you have
Well,
another passion that you want to call on to improve your sword?
I think this is still loyalty to
I
like.
mean, honor could also come into place here. Ooh, no, this is the complete opposite of hospitality.
Yeah, I'm just thinking loyalty because that's a higher one. Like I hate
Oh,
to
of
harp.
course, you want to keep hitting your.
Yeah, I
No,
want to keep hitting them.
I honestly think honor is probably the one that gets closer to here.
All right, if I screw this up, this is gonna be bad.
It's gonna be my fault too. No, you're good. Yeah, you hit your honor.
Cool.
Is there some way we see you gaining your honor? Is it like you call upon the judgment of King Arthur? Is it you look over Bible quotes instead of, loudly braggartly calling out your enemy? Where does your personal honor dwell in this fight?
Well, he's using the Bible, which I'm assuming Arthur claims lordship under God
Yes.
to justify his tyranny over the people.
Yes.
So I'm calling on my honor to dispatch of that evil.
Excellent. Do you allow Worthram, Barrick's son, to act as your squire?
Well, if I'm gonna die, I may as well make a kid happy for a little while. Yeah, sure.
All right, like Worthram's doing the Rocky Coach thing, getting your armor equipped, getting your sword ready, and he's just like,
Mhm.
You're not going to hurt my father, are you?"
If everything's go right, I'm gonna kill your father. Sorry, kid.
He goes pale. Yeah, and it's just complete whiteness over a shock of red hair. But he continues to like hand you things even though they're way too heavy for him to handle,
Yeah.
and his hands are shaking.
I think I'll like reassure him, be like, "You'll be a knight one day, and if I dispatch your father now, you are the heir to the throne here. In time, you know, when you grow older, you need to be better than him." Just like try to calm him down, or
Okay,
like reassure him.
interesting.
Be like,
Make an
if
orate
I,
roll real quick.
if I kill him, you're the future here. Good luck, kid.
Your orate is horrible. You're very bad at
Yeah.
convincing people of things.
Can I can't use my passion. Like, is that
Your
a
passion gives you a +10 to a specific skill. I'm
which
assuming
is
you
gonna be
called upon
swords?
it for your sword. Yeah.
Yep. I'm gonna roll it. It's not gonna work though.
Okay.
Nope.
Interesting.
He's just too
No.
distracted by the fact that I just said I'm gonna kill his father.
Yeah, he's definitely. I mean, he shook. He's shook.
Yep.
And let's see here. Did we call what your armor rating was? I feel like we put your equipment down somewhere.
Now I'm just seeing Bodrick as Milhouse's dad from The Simpsons.
The armor rating of chainmail is 12. No, it's 10. All right. So your armor is 10, and then you have a shield. So as long as you hit, you'll be able to add a 6 to that for 16 armor. And he's in the exact same position. So he's wearing his like plate mailed black armor. He's not using his greatsword. He's using sword and shield, and approaching you and just like, "I hope you are prepared for your end times, Sir Elias. Is there something you would have me send to your widow?"
Send them back my sword and shield if you dispatch me, unlike you did with the previous knight.
So probably he runs his sword over the shield to make a shinging noise. "You again insult me in my own house."
That dulls the blade, bitch.
All right. You two charge at each other. Go ahead and make your sword roll. You have a +10 to it.
Yeah. Do I do that in modify now or no?
Yes, you should definitely modify it because you might get an extended critical, which is where your so we didn't discuss the mechanics of how the game works. Your sword is 15.
Yep.
All right, so if you roll a 15, you get a crit. If you roll 14 or lower, you get a hit. When you modify your number above 20, in this case, your modifier would be 25. You cannot miss. You will always hit. And if you roll a 20 through a 15, you'll still crit because you have a +5. Whoever has the higher roll and still hits will succeed.
Yeah, hits, and then has the number above the other player.
Yes.
Right. I remember that part from
Yep.
Stevens.
So his skill right now is a 23. So you have a small, but 10% advantage on him. Go ahead and make your roll. And while this is happening, why don't you tell us what your sword and fighting style is like?
My sword is a little bit more black metal than would be expected. It's like at the very end, it's got like almost a sharp twisted rose pattern, and like petals and stuff up the blade. I think maybe my it's like an homage to my mother or my grandmother, who was like gardener to the king or something like that, or gardener to the lord of whatever, whoever took me under their wing.
Yes, of course. Olenna Redwine. I know her well.
Sure. It's probably a reference I don't get.
It's Game of Thrones. Don't worry about it.
There you go. I have not seen an episode of Game of Thrones in my life.
Tell Cersei it was me.
All right. I'm going to do the thing. RNGesus bless.
Yep. RNGesus says semi-bless you, but not great.
Okay. Yep.
You have a roll of 5, so with a +5, you end up with a roll of 10. His sword style is brutally effective. It's the Darth Vader of swords. He's just like
force.
Yeah, like he's relying on his armor to protect him and just going in for these massive, big, slow hits.
Yeah, I think my style is more reactive. So when I see,
he's gonna get a 14, 13, 12, right? He has a +3.
Yeah.
Yes. So he is gonna succeed here, but you get your what do you call it? You get your shield, so you have a 16 to negate this. And he rolls 46. Minus 16. You take no damage. And what's your... I gotta borrow your sheet here real quick. Your dexterity is not great.
No, it's like average 10.
Yeah, so you're gonna need to make a dex roll to see if you get knocked down.
Okay.
Nope, you're good. So yeah, he hits you. Boom! Like you don't feel the hit, but you are almost crunched to the ground. But you heroically push yourself back up using your shield.
I think it's like I'm bending my knees to the ground at the same rate as he's like pushing into me. So I'm just like springboarding pretty much.
Perfect. Excellent. He laughs. At this rate, I'll crush you, Sir Elias, as I have crushed all who have ever stood before me. You are weak.
We even monologue while you fight. You are a true villain.
He backhands you with the shield and goes in for his next attack. So you go ahead and make your roll. And I'll go ahead and make my roll. I have a 3. Wow. Well, you have a 17, so you definitely beat me by far.
Woo. So what is that?
You hit your damage, which is 66, which is real bad for me. I have a 16 defense. No, actually, it's lower, right? Nope, he has the same equipment as you. Yep, yeah. 16 defense.
So is that on my sheet? Did I just hit damage?
Yeah, down it should say derive statistics damage. All right, you hit him for 7 points, and he needs to make a dex roll to stay standing. He does not. Your reactive style works out really well for you this round. Like, he goes to bash you in the face with the shield and then keep laying on these big hits, and you counter one of them, and he's just like guard broken. He's like, ah, like a fighting video game.
Guard break.
Yeah, exactly. You lay some hits down on him, and he gets turtled on his back, and he's like, ah! And just screams really loudly.
Yeah.
He has to spend his next turn standing up, which means you get a free attack on him. If you want to. The honorable thing to do would be to let him get up.
I think I was like, after flipping, like after like he hits down, I push up. He hits me with a shield, but I bring my sword around and like catch him on the back of the leg, kind of thing. Where he's like, and the shield
Trip
push him
him?
over.
Yeah. Boom.
And I just like flip my sword, do like sword flourish, and just like stand back
All right. Yeah.
and let him get up.
He rises up from the ground using his sword as almost like a staff, and huh, it was a good hit, but I've taken far worse. I'll show you why they call me the Bandit Killer of Wernsis. And he like switches the sword style around, so he's doing stabs.
Mm-hmm.
And he Super Saiyans into you. He's just like, ah! 10? Actually, would have. Yep, 10. 10 is correct. Wow, another hit again. This is bad.
I
This
think
is
he's just
bad.
like he's just so mad. He can't focus.
He runs in. He's just trying to frontal stab you the whole time, and you again guard break him. And he's like, ah!
For 22.
That's bad for him again. Let's see if he can stay standing. Yes, he does stay standing. He stays standing real good. Probably there are bits of his armor hanging off right now, like you've damaged him with the chain. There's a little bit of blood dribbling out of his mouth, and he's just like, pulls his faceplate up. Very good, Sir Elias. I've not faced anyone as good as you in years. But surely you must know that a young man like yourself doesn't have the experience in battle that a man like I has. I'll give you this last chance to surrender to my judgment. His men around him are all like yelling and passing bets now. They're like totally into this fight. They haven't seen Barrack have to go ham on someone for a while, and like several of them are betting on you.
I think like if I noticed that, I'd be like, you may have the experience, but I have the young back and the young arm, and your men seem to notice.
Oh my god. He's you would and then he runs back at you again with an overhand chop. Just furious now, fully enraged. That's a critical hit.
Okay.
You're whoa! No, actually his is higher. Yep. Because he has a +3, so he has a 22.
Oh,
yep.
I see.
Yeah.
It's one of those like clash things, but he's like he just powers through.
I forget whether he can just knock your sword out of your hand with this. Give me a moment. I think something weird happens when there's a critical and a success against each other. Combat, page 112. We're getting real complicated now. Basic rules, damage, armor, actions and melee, attacks, blah, 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 blah. Nothing is better than slowing down a combat by looking up dumb chart stuff. Alright, so that stuff only matters when...
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby.
Looking rules up. Blah, 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 blah. First aid. Nope, I don't care about that. Amount of combat, evasion, optional tactics. This is all the wrong stuff. Don't care about cover. Oh, there it is. Thing I'm looking for. Zoom in. Beep, boop, beep, boop. Dex roll, armor, shields. Nope. He's just gonna double up on damage, so he's rolling 8d6. You have a -16, so you take 11 points of damage, which is almost a third of your health. You're gonna need to mark down that you've taken a pretty bad wound. It's less than a major wound, though.
Where do I mark that?
In the upper right-hand corner of your stats page, there should be a thing that says wounds.
Yep.
You're going to want to put an 11-point wound in one of those boxes.
Sure.
And then you need to make a dex roll.
See if I stay standing.
Yep.
Nope.
Nope, you go down. And unlike you, he is not filled with honor. He's filled with murderous rage, so he's going to take the next turn to attack you as well. Roll one. Oh, and he actually can't fail, right? So he's definitely going to hit. But he can't break your armor. Oh, no, he does 3 points of damage because you can't shield. So while you're standing up, you're completely surprised as he like starts hitting you on the back of your head with his weapon. He's just like, ah! Ah! And everyone's just like, yeah, that's great. And some people are like, boo, foul.
Where's the referee?
That's not enough to... Oh, gosh, I think it's enough to trigger your dexterity again. He might literally knock you over again.
3 damage is enough?
That's a good point. It is only 3. Oh, no, because it's against the pre-modified damage. A 13 is higher than your dex.
Yes.
So you do need to roll again. Pretty sure.
No, stay standing.
You do stay standing indeed. You know what? Go ahead and mark a... Oh, you can't mark a check for attributes. Well, I was going to say you should mark a check for attributes because that's a really, really good roll. When you take a blow, the base damage is compared to your size value. Oh, my bad.
Oh,
you actually you wouldn't have had to for that roll.
Yeah.
For that one. All right. Okay, you're standing, he's standing, you're both fairly hurt, you're swinging swords around like crazy. What's the deal? You're impassioned by God, he's impassioned by protecting what he owns. His son is standing nearby, just looking completely frightened.
I think I'm a little pissed that he didn't give me the honor that I gave him.
It's true, yeah. He flips up his faceplate and again he's like, "What's wrong? Mad that we don't fight like you do in the South with all of your sissy dancing around in circles, waiting for men to stand up. I told you I'm the bandit killer of Warensis. I don't wait for men to stand up. I put them down."
We fighting.
Okay, let's roll.
Okay, let's...
True, he is villainously monologuing.
23.
Oh no, it's a critical hit! Oh no! Alright. This is really bad because your crits are monstrously strong. You do a 12d6 crit.
So, beside critical, there's a dice. Do I hit
Yep,
that one?
I think that's the one you hit.
42.
Oh my god, you kill him instantly.
The
Tell
answer
me-
of the universe
Yep.
is 42.
Tell me how you strike this man down in a single blow. It's really gruesome, by the way. Like, this is really bad. 42 is super high.
What's the most honorable way a knight can kill another knight?
I mean, probably sword through the heart, I would think.
There we go. I'm like, where I come from, we fight with honor.
All right, yeah, he runs straight into it, and he's like looking down at the sword. He drops his sword. Everything goes into slow motion as some like da 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 begins playing, and he like puts his hands on the sword and tries to pull himself off. And he's just like, "Sir Elias, you fought well this," and then like he's been stabbed in the heart, and he just like slumps to the ground, falls forward. Your sword like props him up for a second, and then he falls sideways with it. Blood is pouring everywhere. Worthram, his son nearby, is just like, "No, father!"
You're the man of the house now.
Yeah, he's probably actually kneeling in a pool of his father's blood, trying to pull your sword out of his chest.
Did I just make a supervillain?
Yeah, I think so. I think you just made Worthram into your nemesis. All of the men nearby are cheering. Now they're all just like, "Ah, hail Worthram, successor of Beric! Worthram for Lord!" And some other people are like, the justice of King Arthur! Sir Elias, the just knight!"
Mm-hmm.
there's a group of like 5 of the guards that he has that are like slowly backing out of the room, trying to not be seen. You can see them moving towards where like the treasury is.
I think I'd look at, are those the guards that were previously Broderick's? Or like the people in the corner betting against the fight?
Yeah, they were betting pretty heavily on Barrick.
So like,
But more importantly, these are like the meanest, toughest, rapscallionist looking of the guards.
I might go over to Barrick's body, kind of like pat Warwick's shoulder, grab my sword and pull it out and march after the 5.
All
They're
right.
like, nope.
Yeah, so you arrive, they're like grabbing things and putting them, stuffing them into satchels and stuff. You can hear them like coordinating, like, no, don't get the chalices, those are worthless. Get the gold coins. That there, those pieces of paper are always valuable. Don't and then like one of them turns like, oh shit! And they all start like drawing weapons and like grabbing ceremonial shields off of the wall. And their leader's like, what are you doing in here, Sir Elias? This is a official business. We're town guardsmen. You can't be in here.
Official business stealing the town's wealth.
What do the Skyrim town guards say when you get caught stealing things?
Oh. The only Skyrim line that I remember really is like, someone stole your sweet roll. I think like on the way, like people that were disenfranchised by Broderick are now, they're kind of like free in a way until the next ruler enacts either the same or different policies.
Until Worthram comes along, the
Yeah, and
Dark
he's like,
Lord Worthram.
everything is mine. But like anyone that is in the manor that is like was unhappy with Broderick is now kind of free. So it's like they're stealing your wealth.
All right, make an orate.
Fuck, I hate Ori.
You're like, I really want to talk to people and encourage them to follow me, but I'm really bad at doing that.
Can I friggin' passion this?
Yeah, what's your passion?
I don't know.
I kind of feel like hospitality.
Sure, let's try that one.
All right. Wow,
Yeah.
I'm shook. You did well.
That could have gone really funny.
Yes, it could have.
That could have gone great.
You could have literally ripped your armor off and gone running into the woods.
Yeah,
Wow,
13.
okay.
8 over 13.
Yeah, with a 13 and you rolled an 8, people begin following behind you. They've like gathered outside the treasury with you.
Grabbing like torches and like anything that they can use as a club or a knife or something.
Yeah, the 5 guards are just like, we'll find our way out if we have to. And like one of the guards is like, not me. I'm not with the rest of them. I'm not with them. He's like switching sides. Sir Elias is a just man. The rest of you are all law-breaking fiends. You're all under arrest. I mean, what do you want to do here? You now have 4 armed thugs stealing the town's wealth. You've got, I'm going to say a dozen cooks and servants and a couple guards behind you.
Is it fair to say that like we have like the numbers on them enough?
I mean, you alone could probably
everyone?
kill all of them, right? They're all wearing clothing and you're in armor.
Yeah. Okay. Well, like I'll step in with my sword like ready for combat. I'm like,
They all skitter away like cockroaches, pushing their backs against the wall.
I had to end this tyranny with blood. That does not make me very happy.
Oh wait, your sword's still stuck in Barrick. What are you using right
No,
now?
I
Oh,
walked-
okay, then your sword is covered in blood right now.
covered in blood. It's like been dragging or like dropping blood down the hallway since.
It's like that dark red blood too. Yeah, you got it right from the source.
Yeah, it's like I had to end this tyranny in blood, something I wished not to do. I wish not to spill any more blood.
We were just following orders.
Orders from who?
Lord Barrick.
He's a dead man now.
So we'll be treated proper then. As town guards.
Yep. As long as the next ruler that you guys how does it rule? How does it work if just like if it's a kid, does the kid rule or is
I
there an
mean, he's
advisor?
16 years old. He's old enough to be a ruler.
Mhm.
I mean, someone has to come down. Someone who's his superior needs to come down and ennoble him. So
Yeah.
whoever barracks, local baron would do that.
Yeah. Who I would ask them like who's the baron that would put the boy in charge?
Oh, Baron Gwennick, of course. Just down the road that way, 60 miles towards the coast.
Is he a man of honor?
Of course. We're all men of honor here.
I mean, he put Barrack in charge. Unless Barrack changed throughout
I mean,
his
so technically he didn't put Barrack in charge, right? Like, Barrack's ancestors have...
Yeah. Or like the Baron wouldn't really have the power to dethrone a lord. I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it could be done, but it'd be super gauche, right? Like, to take away someone's lordship is to take away not just their livelihood, but anyone that they would ever have children. It's essentially just destroying their family forever.
Well, let's say like as long as the Baron tell the Baron what what happened here with the leadership that was in place, and be sure that doesn't happen with the boy. I've seen good in him. He wants to be a knight. He has the desire. He has some of the qualities. I don't know if he could ever raise sword against Wotan's men, certainly, or dragon or anything of that sort.
Everyone's like, ha, dragons. Those are mythical creatures. Just hasn't been a dragon in these parts.
Dragon flies overhead.
100 years.
Yeah. That's what they said in Skyrim. Look what happened.
Yeah, exactly.
But like, basically convincing them like, it's not up to me to make sure you're treated fairly. The next leader needs to be the one that enacts all these fair policies. And like
These people aren't following you. You're like fair policies, and they're just like, what?
Do I have a pamphlet?
They can't read. No one here can read. You can barely read.
That's true.
I think Werther might be the only person in the whole town that can read now that Barrick's dead. Maybe the priest, possibly friar out.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I just want to make sure that he gets like the good training that like will turn him into a just leader, not a tyrannical one.
Yeah. So you back these guards into the treasure room. And the lead guard is just like, I'll tell you what, Sir Elias. I will take Worthram under my personal care. Uncle Jarek, that's what they call me. Uncle Jarek. I'll make sure the boy's raised proper. Until he's become a lord. I'll look after him. I've always had a soft spot for him.
I have your word then.
Of course. You can trust old Jarek.
That doesn't sound very good. Is there a skill that I can use to like suspicious maybe?
Yeah, suspicious. That's perfect.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, you succeed. This guy's totally lying. As soon as he gets the first opportunity, he's gonna convince Worthram to let him take anything he wants out of the treasure room and run again.
I think I look at the others and be like, do any of you believe this man? Like his own henchmen and then the group behind me.
Like everybody starts moving away from him. What? What's going? Wait, you, Donner. Yeah, I helped your son when his leg was caught by that thing, and we've drunk together, guys.
Like, I'll look at the others, sheath my sword, and say, "Throw him in the dungeon."
Dun, dun,
Or like throw him in
dun.
the keep or whatever.
Yep. As you turn and walk away, the other guards are dragging him into the dungeon, and someone, as you walk past, just like with stars in their eyes, goes, "He's so just."
Hero pose.
I feel like, yeah, we do Elias as eagles fly overhead and fireworks go off and an American flag in the background.
What is this? What is this flag?
Exactly. I feel like this is actually a good end. I know it was a little short, but we did a nice self-contained story here.
Yeah, unless you have like another side mission.
I don't,
That feels good
unfortunately.
to end
I
on.
couldn't trick you into going into the woods to get eaten by elves.
Yeah.
It would have been great, though. Arrow, these are some great drawings as always. I have a question. What's up with the bottom of the greatsword? I can't tell if there's like blood runes there or if you just have some squiggles.
Here?
Yeah, that.
Just some squiggle. I didn't actually pay.
All right,
Remember
it's
the
okay. It's okay.
description.
I was just concerned, like whether he had like Frostmourne or something, you know, and he needed to stab a dwarf to death.
No, Frostmourne gonna be like something like this.
Oh, there we go. Look at this
Yeah.
Frostmourne design. Frostmourne hungers.
Uh,
Man,
yeah, but I didn't remember exactly how he describes his sword, so I just kind of like that.
Yeah.
you're a little soft right now.
Squiggles and just make them look as black metal as possible. And
Yeah,
you're good.
exactly. Perfect. Black metal.
Black metal.
Yeah. Although that would have been the more foresty killing or being killed by elves.
Elves, yeah,
Black metal mission.
true.
Well, could be. We could have elf droids, but
I think I'm gonna go around and tell the people personally, like the blacksmith. Be like, hey, I killed the Lord. You're free, sort of.
Is this the end credit scene where like all of the names are running by, but we still have the anime going on in the background where you're talking to everyone, and
I'm
you
gonna
can tell
take
the
the-
village is happier now.
I'm gonna take the sword and shield back to. Take the sword and shield with me to.
Oh, of the dead knight.
Yeah.
Interesting. Man, you are pretty just. When you aren't insulting a man inside his own house, you can.
That guy was a dick.
That guy was a dick for sure.
I mean, he was a guest, so the guy should hold his tongue, right?
It's complicated. The rules of hospitality are laid out in Pendragon's rulebook, and they are complicated.
And we didn't look at those at all. So.
Don't worry about it. Both sides definitely broke those rules for sure.
For sure.
It's a lot like, gosh, there's a word for it. It's not called bread and salt, but there's definitely a word for accepting someone outside your culture or outside your area into your house. I cannot remember what it is. It's a Roman term, but it's a justifiable legal term that was used for hundreds of years across many cultures.
What if he was a god or something? Like this guy.
What if he was a god?
Yeah.
Then
You
I
should
just
treat your
killed
guests
God.
because
I mean, remember that this guy's a British Christian, so if he killed a foreign god,
Oh,
that
yeah.
wouldn't be too bad.
That's right. Forgot.
That'd be crazy if he was like some sort of Fey lord taking over a town.
Ooh, man, that would have been pretty dank. You thought it was Beric, but it was really me, Dio.
And my entire band.
There is a thing where at birth, changelings can be swapped out for babies. They get stolen. The changelings grow up too fast, and they, instead of getting the like Christian skills, they get the opposite of all the Christian skills. So they're like selfish, vengeful, and vain.
Nice.
They're terrorizing babies. They're horrible, horrible monsters.
And babies are already terrifying to begin with.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. Drummer boy, you make music. Let's talk about that for a second. You are running a Patreon where,
I am.
correct me if I'm wrong, you ask your Patreon subscribers for what choice they would like on their next commission. You
Yep.
then take the majority vote and make 3 tracks or more, one main track and then several sub tracks of just like only drums, piano, and drums.
Mhm.
And it's a pretty reasonable price, like $8 every
Yep.
time you finish one.
Yep. $8 for the main song plus the splits, which are like alternate versions of the same song. And then anything above that is more interaction with me for like how the song is going. Although I might change that a little bit, at least for right now, as the Patreon is just beginning. The top tiers are like for when a lot of people are talking at the same time, because I can't realistically fulfill the needs and wants of 20 people.
I understand that.
So the people at the higher tiers will get treatment over that. But for right now, if you're interested at all, you can go in there and back either the $5 or the $8 level. And right now, I'm asking everyone for their opinion on what kind of tunes I should do.
Yeah, I'm there. I'm at that $8 level, and I'm pretty sure I voted for Dark Fantasy.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, our definitions of Dark Fantasy were very different. I mean, I thought it was going to be like Warhammer, and you're like Dark
Okay.
Souls. I was like,
Well,
it's going to be grim but comedic, and you're like, actually, it's fucking Blood Rain and Apocalypse.
yeah.
It's all right.
I
Don't
mean,
worry. Dark Fantasy is pretty broad.
I mean, they do intersect. The Venn diagram of Warhammer 40K music and Dark Souls music, to me, they do cross. I just thought Dark Souls, because this is like a 4D&D settings and stuff like that. The majority of what people will use them for is kind of this fantasy Europe setting. So I did that at the beginning. I might like describe them better next time. This is only the second project that's going through. So the next one, the next voting platform will be like kind of like what I did with sci-fi, like sci-fi space or sci-fi like cyberpunk and gritty. I might separate out like a dark fantasy medieval or dark fantasy space or something like that.
Didn't you know the new way to do space shows is to just play 1980s tracks?
Yeah, I think that's going to change a little bit. It's just because people can't really write full orchestral suites for that kind of thing.
Or you just Guardians of the Galaxy or soundtrack.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
you sounded sad about that. I like the Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack.
I like the Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack, but I also really like the Star Wars music, and I feel like there's
Mm.
not very much
There's
in
definitely a
in
difference
that vein
between the two
anymore.
of them.
It's true. Like imagine if the old songs from the 70s got a little bit of the Star Wars orchestral treatment. That might be cool.
I mean, we're not all John Williams.
Yeah.
I've tried to be. Oh my goodness, those were a tough weeks. If you'd like to hear the music I did for that, I'm on Spotify.
Oh
Those are
yeah, you did do the roleplay
the roleplay
light
Star
side,
Wars
dark
music.
side. Yeah.
Yeah, and that ended up like
I wasn't a fan of light side, but dark side was amazing.
yeah. Although I feel like Light Side actually hit a bit more Star Warsiness, although the Dark Side one was just more fun to write.
I mean, the dark side, they had a plan and they stuck with it. With the light side, they were always trying to reinterpret the orders. It wasn't really clear who was in charge. They had trouble
Yeah.
getting underway. With the dark side, they were all in charge and they were all constantly telling everyone what to do.
Yeah. Well, like I feel like that comes down to party chemistry. I feel like the
Yeah.
Dark Side had a little bit more
Yeah.
chemistry than the Light Side did.
I
But
mean, I wouldn't say a little bit. I'd say a lot. I'd say they had a lot more.
it's a lot of it. But
lot.
you know,
A lot.
yeah. But that's basically what that is. It's like crowdfunded commissions. If I could do a Kickstarter for each one, then I would, but it wouldn't make sense to.
So you're saying that if people want more music, like what we heard at the beginning of the show from you, they can go to patreon.com/drummerboy to support your art.
Yep.
Perfect.
I can do the thing. If they want a link, I can drop one in chat right now.
You'll do it, but it'll get canceled.
Yeah, so good. Look at that.
The little link.
Did it actually go through? I can see it. I don't know how that happened.
I think you can see it as the streamer, but other people
Yeah,
can't.
my URL should all be blocked.
Um,
Don't
if
worry.
you-
I'll copy paste it.
If you search Drummer Boy on Google, like Drummer Boy Patreon on Google, it should show up there. If you search it in Patreon, I don't think it does yet. It hasn't made it through the search system yet.
You haven't gotten Google seeded.
Well, it's just the Patreon thing. There's two other people that are sort of called Drummer Boy. I spelled it different,
I don't
but
know.
they're
I
like
just
dead projects.
I
So
just incognito searched Drummer Boy Patreon and it got exactly what I was looking for.
sweet. Well, that's cool.
Speaking of artists who make things, let's turn to you, Aracito, who are making
Yeah.
things and is an artist.
Hello, I'm
You're
Rosado.
a little low right now, buddy. A
I'm
lot low.
always a little lower, a little high,
know.
or having
You're rarely high. You're rarely high.
audio problems. All right, is it better? No,
No.
no.
It's fine.
I won't lie to you.
What if I talk like this?
There we go. That's a lot better.
All right, I'm a Rosado and I'm an artist, and you can find me at Beaker Fellow with two L's at Twitter and Instagram. I have all of my commission info on Twitter, and if you're going there, you can give me a follow if you like, please. It would be very much appreciated, and you can ping me there on Twitter or Discord or send me an email to talk about commissions if you want. And that's it.
Excellent.
And it does awesome work, by the way. Like I gave him such a weird concept,
Thanks.
an explosion from Metalocalypse, but in Pendragon. So
I mean, we
That's
throw
so
all
awesome.
kinds of stuff at Aracito.
Yeah. And I did stop by with the Made RPG one, and that was hilarious.
It was one
So
of
good.
the best ones.
Oh, man. Speaking of, I mean, Lexi and I are in talks about making the show that I talked about after that. The anime stuck in a fantasy MMO world one. It's
Nice.
probably gonna. Oh yeah, I forgot. Unfortunately, this show will probably get canceled at the same time as that show starts because it's gonna be on Tuesday nights.
Oh damn!
I know, buddy. But we'll get as many more episodes of On the Tabletop out as we can. Still looking for party members for that particular show.
I'm still waiting for the poker one.
We've been talking about it. It's me and Lexi and Pondo, and probably I need to find one or two more people. And we'll sit down and have anime poker night, where we just play poker while being anime characters and just being like, "That's right, I've got 2 5s in my hand. That's a pair. A pair is a good bet. I'm going to go all in on this one. But he saw through my bluff."
All stereotype shit. Poker themed.
I've got 2 pair. Well, I hate to tell you this, but I'm your brother's sister's step dog.
I hate to tell you, but on the flop in the river, I managed to pick up a royal flush. And they're like, "What? Royal flush? How is that the odds against? No!" And then like the cash pile explodes in the background, and they're like, "No!"
Oh man, it's gonna be amazing.
Just play Uno. I mean, Uno's a bit on the nose, isn't it?
Oh man. I would ask to join in on that, but I do not know anime very much at all.
I mean, this is specifically going to be about voice acting in anime. I don't know shit about poker.
I'm not an anime
pretty
or
easy.
voice actor. So. Oh, but I will. Kels is in chat. It just reminded me. I'm gonna be on their Longfall game for a few weeks.
That's Wednesday, right?
Yeah. So I'm gonna be in a couple weeks time. We're gonna do like a Court of Swords 4 to 6 arc session, or for session arc, and I'm gonna be filling in for someone who can't do it for a little while. So
Excellent.
look forward to
That's
that.
awesome.
That's the one where Kelsa plays an owlbear cat, cop.
Owl cat bear cop.
Yep, that.
And I think I have a concept for my character. I'm not sure. I need to talk to Michael about it yet.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
that's us for tonight. I know it's a short show, but we kind of compressed everything in this, and
I don't know about you, but I kind of like shorter RPG content. It's
I know.
Easier to digest.
I mean, the important part right now is that I really need to catch up on sleep so bad. I was up until like 3 o'clock this morning. I was on my Discord and I was like, guys, I can't sleep. I'm reading so hard. And then I was like, all right, I'm up at 7 a.m. as well. Got like 4 hours of sleep. I'll be fine.
Damn.
Just play some Overwatch.
Overwatch. Oh, I ranked in at Overwatch last night, buddy. I'm no platinum master player like you, but I managed to get
I
2166.
saw.
I know.
Are you a Master Pharaoh player?
I actually am very good at Pharah, but specifically for this season in competitive, I spent 2 days learning how to play Soldier 76, like 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah, I
And
popped in on your stream once when you were doing the.
yeah, I mean, your tips on how to play 76 definitely improved my abilities. When I started playing 76, I was because I played Junkrat and Pharah, I'm so used to solo flanking without the team, not team pushing, and not team ulting. And
solo spawn camping, right?
I mean, solo. Yes, solo spawn camping, an entirely effective tactic that infuriates. I play a psychological game when I play Overwatch.
Of course.
The sooner people get upset, the sooner they break their chill down and they stop thinking and they start playing like garbage. And I mean, you know this happens. You've seen it happen to your own teammates where they just like screech and rage when bad shit happens. And if you can force people to do that, then that's how I play. That's how I play Overwatch, is frustrating people. Or I did. Now I play 76. I had to learn how to team push. I had to learn how to do, burst fire. I mean, that's probably been like 3 years since I've had to do that. I must have been playing DayZ is the last time I had to control my burst.
Yeah. You have to burst fire Pharaohs because otherwise they're just.
You mean 76?
Yeah,
I mean,
as 76, you have to burst fire on a Pharaoh.
Yeah,
and Mercy as well.
Yeah, so with let's say 6 hours of training, I think I did pretty well on 76.
Nice.
Pulled in. It's not the highest Overwatch rating I've ever had, but there sure are a hell of a lot more people playing now.
By the way, you did go up in ranking in regular competitive, but are you in Masters in Lucio Ball?
No.
Because I am.
I know you are, buddy.
I'm so proud of that, man.
When are you gonna do fan art of yourself in the Lucio outfit with roller
I know.
skates on?
Dude, just draw yourself a T-shirt and wear that T-shirt every day of your life.
Just Masters Lucio Ball.
Yeah. Just like the Masters logo, but like make it all Lucio style.
Yeah, I should do that.
Lucio's voice actor is fantastic for hanging out with all the other. I mean, he like interviews the other Overwatch voice actors every time they meet up. Really good. All right. Well, maybe I'll get in some off-world trading company. Drummer Boy, if you're streaming tomorrow morning, I'll probably like every morning silently lurk while doing work. And
Sweet.
Arrow, I basically watch your Twitter account every second of every day to see the next time a cute witch or elf girl is going to show up. So
Yeah. Tomorrow morning on stream will be the Patreon project, so that's perfect.
that reminds me, Arrow, by the way. Your
Yes.
Toast Girl, that was pretty good, but there was some salacious art the other day. I need to wag my finger at you, buddy. Come on
Listen,
now. Come on now.
that was a retweet.
Come on, buddy.
A character of mine
Come on.
drawn by another artist.
Come
it
on,
was. I couldn't not retweet it.
Come on, buddy.
It was an art trade.
Keep the kid friendly, okay?
Come on.
I couldn't show it to my grandmother.
Sorry.
Come on, man. Your grandmother has nipples too.
Aerosido Hentai Master.
I am not.
There we go. See, I'm sliding his name now.
No,
All right.
I'm not. I actually wish I was, but I'm not.
You wish you were the Hentai Master?
Yeah, man.
I was just talking to Lexi about this last night, where I was like,
Hard as
yeah,
hell.
Master Roshi was super hentai, and she was like, yeah, I went back and rewatched Dragon Ball Z. He is way grosser when you're older.
I mean, if you were a hentai artist, you could probably do pretty well on Patreon because a lot of those are
know,
really
right?
sketchy. Like the ASMR and the fan art stuff is like, oh man, they're like
Right. Sakimichi-chan.
a couple grand a month. And it's like all you're doing is drawing boobs and stuff.
Wait a
Yeah.
second. I know that name. Sakamichi-chan. She does good
Yep.
art. Are you?
She does a really, really good art, but her
Right.
Patreon is like hentai all around.
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, and she grabs like
I do know she did the art swap with Diva and Ari from League of Legends, and I was like, it's too
yeah.
much. It's too much for me to handle. There's way too many foxes in this picture. There's only 2 people, and there's like 8 foxes. Look at that. Henley's a chat. Henley's like, guess what, guys? People like porn.
I actually
This
agree.
conversation's so far away from where we should be. Fantastic. This is the 8th episode of On the Tabletop. We might be back in a couple weeks for another episode.
Hey, Joker Bunny, there you go.
There you go.
You want to be squeaky clean? Come to my Patreon and get some music.
I mean, I don't know. Those
Till I start doing some ASMR.
I was about to
heavy
say
breathing
those rhythmic beats could put me to sleep.
music. Oh man.
Any closing words we have?
No, just thanks for having me on, and thanks for anyone who's checking out my Patreon. Even if you don't support, if you check it out and share it to someone you think might find it useful, thank you very much.
And I'm masters in Lucio Ball.
All right, there we go. He's gonna
Awesome.
put that on his grave. Masters at Lucio Ball. Like 50 years, 60 years, people are gonna be like, "What's Lucio Ball?" He's gonna be like, "I was masters in it,
I was Lucio Ball Master.
master." You see, back in the day, there were summoning squares. We called them circles, but they were really square in nature. Just the way we did things back then.
Watch Lucio Ball be like the freak esports phenomenon.
Oh, it's
Suddenly.
way more likely that Rocket League would enter that 36th of chambers.
You'd think so, but Overwatch.
I guess it's possible. I'm gonna toss you guys over to Eric Vulgaris, who's doing things with other things. And
Oh yeah, Once Upon a Games tonight.
yeah, he's reflecting on samurai-ness. So have a good night, y'all.
Good night.